Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and my husband Chris and I have been eating a carnivore diet for over 7 years now. We both lost over 100 pounds in our first year and we've been working to maintain it ever since. We just got back from a family trip. We were gone about a week and a half, and so our pantry, our fridge, freezers were pretty bare. I have done a ton of grocery shopping in the last 24 hours to stock us back up again. And I figured I would just walk you through and show you what a typical week of groceries looks like for us. Some of this will last us a long time and some of it we're gonna eat up right away. But we're gonna break it down for you in terms of breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I'll show you what we keep on hand for snacks. We're just gonna go rapid fire through a lot of the groceries that I get to hopefully give you some ideas of meals, and then any recipes that I reference, I will link down below because what we eat, I show in a lot of my other What I Eat videos. And I'll make sure to link all of the recipe videos that I'm talking about down below too. We typically shop for groceries at our local grocery store, Costco, Walmart, and I even went to a local butcher shop just to get a few specialty items. Let's start off with breakfast. Okay, so my kids eat breakfast every day, and for the last year and a half or so, I have been eating breakfast. I eat 2 meals a day, and that typically is breakfast, and then our biggest meal of the day as a family is lunch. So it's really the kids and I having breakfast every day. We've eaten some of these groceries in the last 24 hours, but we go through a lot of eggs, so eggs are gonna be a staple. We just tend to get them at Costco. The kids typically have eggs and sausage, maybe a little fruit to go with it for breakfasts. We like these sausages because they're pre-cooked and you just microwave them and it's so easy. I also have a lot of bacon, so typically my breakfast is bacon and eggs. You guys already know we love bacon crumbles, like pre-cooked bacon crumbles, and I put these in meatballs, but a big go-to breakfast for me that you see in all my What I Eat videos is eggs, bacon crumbles, and some shredded cheese in it. Something else that I have been eating probably once or twice a week is these Red's Egg Witch sandwiches. It's turkey sausage, 2 pieces of egg for the bread, and then just a little tiny piece of cheese in there, and you can microwave them or I put them in the air fryer. And if Chris and the kids and my schedule don't line up for breakfast, then I'll just pop these in between my meetings in the morning. And it's 17 grams of protein for one of them, and I usually have 2, and I get my day started with a good hearty breakfast. And actually, I think that's it in terms of breakfast. I eat leftovers a lot for breakfast. Sometimes, depending on my work schedule, I work aligned with Central Time. And so I start work at 6 a.m. every day and my lunchtime ends up being at 10 a.m. So breakfast for me sometimes is actually at 10, or I'll have a brunch and then a late lunch. So around 10 o'clock, I sometimes just feel like eating leftovers or chicken salad or something else. So you don't have to think of breakfast in terms of breakfast food. I did an egg scramble with leftover chuck roast the other day in a recipe video for you. So this is kind of just when I was thinking in my head, I gotta buy groceries for breakfast, those are the few things that I got. Before I break down what I got for lunches and dinners, I have some amazing news. First of all, this video is sponsored by Element, and their lemonade salt flavor is back permanently. It was originally launched as their seasonal flavor for the summer, and it very quickly became their #1 bestseller. I was running low and I thought I was gonna have to start rationing it because I was running out of my summer stock. And I'm so glad it's back. It's really the one flavor that I tend to drink the most outside of the unflavored version. So all of their packets have the sodium, magnesium, and potassium. They're sweetened with stevia. The unflavored version is literally just that. It doesn't have any sweeteners. None of them have any filler or any junk in them. But the lemonade salt is probably my favorite of the flavors. And so especially as I'm being more active and I'm adding a second packet, I love having the lemonade salt in the afternoons. It's also delicious mixed with iced tea, as you have a little sugar-free Arnold Palmer. I had that several times on our road trip. So I'm really glad it is back as a permanent flavor. I will link it down below. You can get a free sample pack with any purchase if you go to drinkelement.com/LAURASPATH. So thanks to Element for sponsoring this video. All right, let's break down what our family has for lunch. So honestly, this might be dinner for you. It really just depends on your schedule. Lunch is our family's biggest meal of the day. If I'm not traveling, I work from home. Chris homeschools our kids, and so they're all home during the day, and we typically have a sit-down family lunch, sometimes like mid-afternoon when I'm done working. Then that's my husband's only meal of the day. He tends to eat one big meal. He really has for the last 7 years. That's just what works best for him. Lunch is usually something grilled, just because Chris always cooks lunch, and we live in Arizona, so we grill all year round. And lunch is usually a beef of some kind. And then we have a second meat to balance out the budget, and then also just to add variety. We all find that having 2 meats on your plate just helps us eat more. It helps it be more satisfying. It adds variety in your meal, and then you can mix up the combinations of meats that you have daily. And even though you're eating the same thing technically, like, it feels very different. So if you watch a lot of my What I Eat videos, you can see how we break that down. Beef that we get varies depending on just what's on sale. There's a couple of places that we tend to get like steaks from that are a little more affordable, are farther from our house, and we just haven't had time to go there yet. And there are no steaks on sale. Beef is very expensive right now. So this week we are sticking with chuck roasts. These I got at Costco, but that was $5.90. Wait, no, what's the price? $7.49 a pound. So these 2 huge chuck roasts, the good thing is that one of these will feed our family for lunch and then even have some leftovers. We will pull off these chuck eyes. You could see the video teaching you more about a chuck roast. We're gonna pull those off and then cut them in half, and we'll grill those up like steaks. And then the rest of this, we will either braise it, or Chris will put it in the sous vide or the smoker, and then he'll sear it. So this is like several solid days of food for us in terms of beef. Along with that, we typically have some kind of chicken, and it varies. We really rotate through chicken legs, chicken thighs, chicken wings. And this week I ended up getting chicken tenderloins. We don't eat a lot of chicken breast, and we don't eat a lot of chicken without the skin, but I have been doing high fat for the last like 9 months, like basically all of this year so far. And I'm gonna try in September just to go a little leaner, just as a little bit of a rotation. It's not, I mean, it's just like, hey, I've been doing high fat for a while. Let's drop the fat for like a month, and then we'll ramp it back up again. So we ate one today. I did some Greek seasoning. I had a little feta cheese with it. And I had chicken tenderloins along with our chunks of beef. In addition, we also got some pork loin. In a previous What I Eat video, I made pork souvlaki, where I marinated it in a little bit of olive oil and lemon juice, garlic, a few spices, and I did like a pork kebab, and I love doing that with the pork tenderloin. That's really good. Our kids tend to have obviously beef of some kind for lunch, but a lot of times that's steaks. My daughter loves having steak every day. My son would prefer a burger patty. So we do go through a lot of burger patties. We'll throw a slice of the Deli Select American cheese on it. This is my favorite cheese. At my Kroger chain, which is Fry's here, I got the bacon and cheddar burger patties. These are my daughter's favorites. So if she's gonna have a burger patty of some kind, she prefers this. Shrimp is something else that we tend to do as a side as well. And so I grabbed a bag of shrimp from Costco, and especially like I'll put butter and stuff on it, but as I'm just going a little bit leaner for a couple of weeks in my meat, shrimp is gonna be a good thing to like keep my protein up and then not add a ton of extra fat. This was the feta cheese that I grabbed. This is the Presidente brand. That's my favorite. And then I also grabbed some Boar's Head tzatziki, which is a yogurt cucumber dill sauce. So I like to dip my steak, my chicken, my shrimp in feta. Is like a really high protein cheese. So I love using feta as a condiment on top of my steaks or my chicken. And then I'll sometimes use a little bit of tzatziki as well, especially if I'm doing like a Greek style kebab. So good. Okay, last for lunches, I stopped by a local butcher shop near us, and I got some of their homemade bratwurst, which we love. They have cheddar bratwurst, which have these huge chunks of cheese in them. And then I actually got some jalapeno cheddar bratwurst that Chris loves, something a little bit spicy. So this is another thing that we would use as a side to the beef. just to give some variety and to stretch the budget. The kids love bratwurst also. I also picked up some chicken salad. Now, I typically make my own chicken salad. I have a recipe on this channel for my loaded chicken salad. I get canned chicken for that, and that is often a side for my lunch as well, but I hadn't had time to do that yet. I bought the canned chicken, but I didn't have time to make everything yet, so I actually bought some chicken salad from that butcher. And I've talked to them and make sure like there's no sugar and stuff. Obviously there's gonna be some kind of seed oils, but we're good until I get a chance to make my own. And then I happened to grab some meat sticks, which I'll talk about for the snacking. And oh, I got some coleslaw. My daughter loves coleslaw, so she can have that with her lunches. Okay, my last item for lunch, which does end up being lunch and dinner, or is ground beef. We typically go through like a big thing of ground beef every couple of weeks. You know, I make meatballs. I have multiple meatball recipes on here that are a staple, and those are often our side dish for our lunches. Taco bowls, obviously burgers sometimes, but that's pretty much the staple on how we eat ground beef. And then to go along with taco bowls, I got some sour cream, which I'll dip meat into like a condiment as well. And I had plenty of shredded cheese left over, so I didn't need to buy that this time. But making taco bowls with sour cream, shredded cheese, ooh, this is dripping. Okay, is a staple for us. You get the point. Let's talk dinner. So like I mentioned, my kids are the only ones that eat dinner usually. So if your big meal as a family is dinner, then obviously everything I talked about for lunch you could do for dinner. But for us, it's a really small meal. Our evenings are chaotic. I go to bed early. I don't like to eat at night before I go to bed. And the kids are at jujitsu. So usually by the time they get home, they're ready to like eat quick and go to bed. So we stick to pretty much just protein for them for dinner. And actually they have been packing their lunches or their dinners lately to go to jujitsu. So while one of them's training, the other one can eat, and then vice versa. These are actually breakfast sausages. These I got at Costco. They're chicken breakfast links. And we love these. I heat them up in the air fryer, and then the kids pack them in their like lunchbox, and then we'll just eat them cold. So if you had somebody who was like packing lunches for school, that would be a great option. The main thing we try to focus on is just like getting in a good amount of protein for them for dinner. Pepperoni, mozzarella rolls. I get these at my Fry's, which is my Kroger chain. These are another delicious option. I usually have some kind of pre-cooked meat on hand that I could just heat up really quickly. I have loved this Kahlua pork, pre-cooked pork. There's like, Costco has several different options, so does Sam's Club, on pretty clean ingredients like pork and beef that are already cooked for you. The ingredients in this are just pork, sea salt, and then a smoke flavor. So I will use this for the kids and heat it up, and they can just have a little bit for dinner. They would even like microwave this before they go to jujitsu and then eat it like room temperature. In addition, they were having a sale on cheese. These are kryptonite for me. I try to stay away from these, but since the kids have been packing their meals, Penelope especially loves having some sliced cheese along with like some other type of protein, like those chicken sausages. So I grabbed the sharp white cheddar and some sharp cheddar because they were on sale. But buying a stack of cheese, I try to avoid that. The other thing we do for a super quick dinner is like chicken nuggets. I get the Tyson rotisserie chicken strips from Costco. These are unbreaded. And then I have been getting the Real Good chicken strips. The kids love these and they are so obsessed. They are low carb. They're not carnivore friendly, but they are like mostly chicken, and then they're breaded in like a chickpea flour and some whey protein. Now, I have been feeling moderately guilty for letting the kids eat these because they are fried in canola oil, and seed oils are toxic, I know. However, I have seen everywhere online talking about Real Good Foods is switching to frying things in beef tallow. And several people I know have purchased this same big bag at their Costco, and on it in big letters, it says fried in beef tallow, no seed oils. So 2 thumbs up to them for switching to beef tallow. If you're concerned about the seed oils, like wait and check. My Costco stock is pretty bare right now, and I'm really hoping that this was just their last shipment on the canola oil ones, and then they're gonna switch over to beef tallow very soon. But we love these. And then this is what I make. Like I'll take an egg life wrap and this, and I'll make Penelope like a keto snack wrap. She loves it. It's delicious. That's typically what the kids' dinner looks like, especially if they're packing it. They might throw in some almond flour crackers or something else, but we tend to keep their dinners pretty small and really low carb because it's their late meal, last meal of the day, and they've already, their biggest meal of the day is lunch. Okay, lastly, let's talk snacks. And I know the word snack is very controversial in the carnivore community. Like you're not supposed to snack, and I agree, we don't snack, my kids don't snack. Like snacking is not something that is necessary, or I like Dr. Sivas always says, a snack is an emotional event. So nobody snacks because they're hungry. We snack because we're emotional. That being said, I do like to have a few things on hand because life happens, and wouldn't you rather grab something that's on plan versus being tempted to grab something that's off plan? Also, we just got back from like across the country road trip where you're driving all day. Like it's fun to snack on a road trip sometimes. So there are a few things that we tend to keep on hand, and it's pretty simple, and it really is in the realm of some kind of like meat stick and or pork rinds. Chris's favorite pork rinds are the Max Cracklin. If I'm traveling and he needs a late night snack and he's by himself, he might snack on a bag of those, but there's usually, I keep on hand just in case. The porking good if you want something that's flavored, or if I was gonna go to the movies or something. These are sour cream and cheddar. They have buttered popcorn flavored pork rinds that you can take to the movies. It's amazing. And then we always have on hand like these tahini chili lime pork rinds. There's a couple of different brands that do it, but if I'm having a taco bowl or you want to make yourself some nachos using a big old fluffy pork rind, and I just scoop up the taco meat, the cheese, the sour cream, and this is like add some spice, delicious. You forget that you're like going without carbs. Like I said, meat sticks are on hand. I grabbed a couple of like spicy ones from our local butcher, but as long as I check out the ingredients like Costco, Sprouts, like there's, no sugar options. I think they're pretty easy to find at this point. I mean, even in an airport, you could find a low, no sugar jerkies, but just check the ingredients when you're buying meat sticks. And then pepperonis is a big one. Nathaniel will take a plate, put a bunch of pepperonis on it, and microwave it for exactly 55 seconds. And he makes himself some pepperoni chips. And then also if the kids are packing their meal, they'll take cheese, pepperonis, and, I forgot. Some turkey meat. So imagine making yourself a little carnivore Lunchable. You could have a piece of turkey, piece of pepperoni, a piece of cheese, and then, put a pork rind on there. Look at that. This is my carnivore Lunchable. And if you need a little snack or you want something for a travel or a road trip, like that's a good one. I think that's it. I'm sure I forgot to show you something that I bought, but I think we're pretty stocked up now. In terms of price, I actually didn't pay attention, and that's always a question that I get. It's probably around like $400 to be honest by the time I bought everything. Some of this we're gonna eat all this week, but some things like that chicken will last us a couple of weeks. So if you're like, when I'm doing a big restock and I go to multiple stores, it ends up being around $400, and then our weekly groceries tend to be probably around $200 as I'm just buying like our repeatable staples. But prices and everything is going to vary based on where you live and your sales, and it varies for us drastically just based on sales. I hope this was helpful. I will link down if you want more than just like seeing the grocery item and you want to know how we cooked it and how we eat everything and what that looks like. I have so many videos on this channel that outline that for you. I will link them down below. If you have questions for me, if you're looking for community support, if you want to do a carnivore challenge, come and join us in my locals community. There's a great group of people over there that are ready to support you. Thanks for watching.